All right, what's up, Andrew?
What's going on?
I have a question for him. Why is timecode important?
Timecode is
And when would you
important.
use timecode?
Oh, okay. Here's a big problem that everyone has, and everyone's like, "Oh, well, I can just do waveform syncing, right?" We've all been told waveform syncing is good enough. If you're shooting a wedding and you have the couple up at the front of the church, right, or the front of the hall, and your back camera, now all of a sudden we're talking 100 feet, 150 feet. Speed of sound is 1 millisecond every foot, roughly, right? So by the time it gets across that church, you are 150 milliseconds out of sync.
Right.
Well, 42 milliseconds is 1 second, or is 1 frame, I should say. So, and that's at your 30 frames a second. I'm sorry, your 24 frames a second. It's like 42, right? So if I'm 150, I could be 3 to 4 frames out of sync by the time it hits the mouth, leaves the mouth into the camera lens. Or camera microphone, but in the lens. So you'll see someone's mouth move, and then you'll hear the audio.
Right.
If I put a recorder on you, right, and I record with timecode, and then I'm recording the speeches over here with timecode, and then I also take a tap of the board feed over here at the church with timecode recorder, and then I put timecode on all my cameras. The mouth moves, the dialogue
Audio
goes with it identically.
Right.
So immediately you've solved your sync issue.
And it's
for
way
long
quicker in
recordings
post.
and big recordings. Then you have the quicker in post thing.
Yeah.
Waveform syncing requires a lot of processing power and time, hard drive speeds, all that kind of stuff, and it still fails. Because remember, if the waveforms aren't perfectly aligned or don't perfectly look like each other, it doesn't work.
Right.
Timecode. It either is that number or it is not that number. If it is not that number, we move on. If it is that number, we sync. And it just goes like that fast. So when you're doing bulk cameras, 3, 4 cameras, because nowadays these cameras are affordable. You're shooting multiple cameras for a wedding, for a live event. A sit-down interview, if you're not shooting 2 cameras for a sit-down interview, you can now. Like, that's an easy thing to achieve.
Podcasting.
Podcasting. You'll have 3 people on a couch, 2 hosts and a guest, 3, 4 cameras, no brainer. The Blackmagics are what, like $1,100, and they have timecode.
Right.
So if you're doing all this kind of stuff, you can save yourself in post. You can save the headache of what waveform syncing brings to the table, and you can get to the creative part of your fun quicker.
Right. And then explain why this would be so useful for them.
So this is that master clock.
Right.
It doesn't drift. It loses 1 frame every 72 hours. So
Which
if you do
you're
a
not
jam
recording,
sync, you're
like,
not 72
no.
hours. No, you're recording for maybe 10 12 hours max, right? So it's not going to drift on you. You put these on all your cameras. You use audio recorders that have timecode, and they're all going to just sync up, and you're going to be able to get into that fun part of your job way sooner.
And the battery life is
28 hours.
28 hours. And then it's got forgot what
it has a scratch mic.
Scratch mic.
So if you are using it with a camera that doesn't have timecode, you still can get some on-camera audio just in case you want that for like natural sounds.
Right. And then it goes up to 60 FPS on here?
We do some faux frame rates since they're not official SMPTE timecode frame rates, but we've done the mathematics to get it to work with your cameras at those frame rates.
Awesome.